everybody. Welcome back to Learn with D. So, today we are going to learn about the past continuous. So, if you watched my earlier video, we completed the present continuous, and this is the past continuous or the past progressive. So, what is the past continuous? How do we use the past continuous, or where do we use the past continuous? And how do we write the past continuous in a sentence? What is the structure of the sentence? And of course, as always, okay? All right. So, what are these? We looked at this in our earlier video with present continuous, right? So, we know that these are the continuous forms of the verbs, like painting, cooking, walking, writing. These are all continuous verbs, okay? Because we have added the ing at the end of these words, right? Wow, what is all this? Now, let's read some of this, okay? Was cutting, were driving, was painting, was coloring, were writing. This is the past continuous, okay? So now, you might ask, why do we have was for certain verbs and why do we have were for certain verbs? Okay, so the answer to that question is in my video of the verb to be. Okay, so these were, was, all of these are the past tense of the verb to be. Okay, so if you are not familiar with the verb to be, I would please ask you to pause this video here and go look at the verb to be video before you continue with this. All right? Okay, good. So, the uses. When do we use the past continuous? So, first one, used to talk about actions that have happened continuously for some time. So, actions in the past that have happened continuously. Okay? Then we use the past continuous to show that something continued for some time, for a period of time in the past, that it continued for a period of time. Okay? Then we use it to talk about interrupted actions in the past. Now, what are interrupted actions? So, interrupted actions mean, let's say something is happening and then another action happens in between this action. That is an interrupted action. An example, let's say, when I was watching TV, you called me. Okay, so I was watching TV and you called me. That is an interrupted action. Okay, now remember, both of these actions are in the past. Okay, so when we talk about interrupted actions, we use the past continuous. Don't worry, we're going to look at examples to understand it more. Okay, and the last use is to talk about an action that happened at a specific time in the past. Okay, to talk about an action that happened at a specific time. So let's look at each of these uses separately. Okay, now, first one, used to talk about actions that happen continuously for some time. Let's see. Let's look at the first example. I was drinking coffee twice a day, right? So I was drinking coffee twice a day. I have been doing that for some time in the past, right? So I was drinking coffee twice a day, right? Remember, I said we use the verb be and we use the continuous form of the verb. I was drinking coffee twice a day. Next example. She was studying all night for her exam. So she was studying all night for her exam. So she had been studying for some time, right? It's not just one time, continuously for maybe few days, maybe few weeks, maybe few months, but sometime, right? Then they were practicing for the competition. They were practicing for the competition. So again, this is an action that has happened a few times in the past, right? They were practicing for a competition. It didn't happen once. It happened a few times, okay? Then the next one, were you exercising twice a week? Now, this is in a question form, okay? So, were, the verb to be, were you exercising twice a week? Okay, so here as well, he has been exercising twice a week for some time or continuously. Okay, all right, let's look at the second use. Used to show that something continued for a while. Right, let's look at some examples. My head was hurting yesterday. So, did my head start hurting and ended immediately? No. When you have a headache, you have it for some time, right? Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 1 hour, maybe 10 hours, right? But for some time, for a while, right? So, my head was hurting yesterday. Okay, this is the past continuous, was hurting. Then, everyone was dancing at the party. Everyone was dancing at the party. Do you dance just suddenly? You just dance and it's finished? No, you dance for a while, right? So everyone was dancing at the party. We were shopping last Saturday. We were shopping last Saturday. Again, is the verb to be, and shopping is the continuous form of the verb. Okay. So again, shopping is an activity that is done for a period of time, right? The last example, they were playing football. So again, verb be, were, and playing is the continuous form. Okay, they were playing football. Again, an action that has happened for a period of time. All right. Okay, so let's look at the next use. We use the past continuous to talk about interrupted actions. So remember, I told you what interrupted actions are, right? So interrupted actions are when one action happens, another happens in the meantime, okay? And it's interrupted, okay? So let's look at some examples. Okay, so I was watching TV when you called. Now, what is the action that happens first? Is it watching TV or was it the call? Which is the action that happens first? Of course, yes, watching TV. Because while I was watching TV, you called, right? So the two actions here, now let's not get confused. Okay, so there are two actions happening here. One is I'm watching TV, and the other one is you called. But what is important here to remember is what is the action that happened first? Yes, so we know that watching TV is the action that happened first. So we use the past continuous on the action that happens first. Okay, so it was watching TV. So I was watching TV when you called. Okay, so if you notice here, the called, we have used the simple past, right? Because again, both of these actions are happening in the past. So, right, they all have to be in past tense, okay? So the difference is the first action, we use the past continuous, and the second action, we use the simple past. Okay? All right, let's look at another example. David was studying when he heard a loud sound, right? So, two actions here. What are the two actions? David was studying, that is one action. And the second action is he heard a sound. Okay, so there are two actions. So, what is the action that he was doing first? That's correct. Yes, study. That was the action that he was doing first. So, like I said, for the first action, we use the past continuous, right? So, studying was the first action. So, we say David was studying because that is the past continuous form, right? David was studying when he heard a loud sound because that is the second action. Heard a loud sound is the second action. And the second action, we use the simple past. That is why we used heard. And for the first action, we use the past continuous, which is was studying. Okay. So David was studying when he heard a loud sound. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the other example. We were shopping when we met Susan. So again, what are the two actions? Yes, one is shopping, one is meeting Susan. Okay. But which one happened first? Shopping or meeting Susan? Yes, you're right. It's shopping. Okay. So remember what I said? We use the past continuous on the action that happens first, which is were shopping. So we were shopping when we met Susan. And met Susan, that means met is in the simple past. Okay, so let's look at that again. Shopping happened first. So we use the past continuous. We were shopping when we met Susan. All right, okay. Now, let's look at the other example. They were playing when the dog chased them. Again, what are the two actions? Playing and the dog chasing them, right? These are the two things that happen. What happened first? The dog chasing them or playing? Yes, playing. And where do we use the past continuous? In the first action. So we say they were playing, because that's where we use the past continuous, when the dog chased them. Okay. And remember the second action, which is the dog chasing them. Okay. The second action also has to be in the past tense because both actions are happening in the past. Okay. But for the second action, we use the simple past. And for the first action, we use the past continuous. All right. So I hope that was clear. All right. Okay. But again, remember, before you watch this video, in case you are not familiar with the past tense of the verb to be, please watch that video first. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next slide, the next use. Okay. So the next use is to talk about an action that happened at a specific time. Okay. An exact time. Now, let's look at the examples. So John was driving at 8 a.m. Right? So is there a specific time here? Yes, the time is 8 a.m. It's specific. So when there's a specific time, we use the past continuous, which was driving. All right. Now let's look at the next one. They were meeting for coffee in the afternoon. Now, is there a specific time given here? Well, we don't see a number, right? However, it says afternoon. Though there is no specific number or a specific time with a number, we have the word afternoon, which suggests a time of day. Okay, so that is counted as one of the examples here, right? So then we use the past continuous. So we say they were meeting for coffee in the afternoon. Okay, so were is the verb to be and meeting is the continuous verb. Okay, then we go to the third example, right? So we were reading at bedtime. Again, do we have a specific time here? Yes, we do. Yes, bedtime. Okay, bedtime is a specific time of the day. So what were we doing? We were reading. Again, we have to use the past continuous, which is were reading. So we were reading at bedtime. Okay. Next example, you were having dinner at 8:30 p.m. So over here, we have a time which is 8:30 p.m. Okay. So we have to use the past continuous form and we say you were having dinner at 8:30 p.m. Right? I hope that was clear. All right. So now, how do we write the past continuous? Okay. How do we build a sentence? So if you watch my videos, you know what this is. Yes, it's a timeline. Okay. So we have the present, we have the future, and of course, we have the past. So where does the past continuous fit in? It fits there. Okay. So again, if you watched my present continuous video, you would know what this is, what the curved line means, or the wiggly line means. The wiggly line means it is happening. It's a continuous action. Okay. So it starts in the past and it is still continuing, but all in the past. You see, it is not the present, it is not the future, it is still the past. It's a continuous action, that is why the wiggly line, but it is all in the past. Okay? All right. Now, how do we build a sentence? We have the subject or the pronoun. Then we have to use the verb to be, but remember, in the past tense. Okay? And then we have a verb with the ing, the continuous form of the verb, right? So, let's see, subjects. What are the subjects? Yes, we have I, you, he, she, it, we, they. These are the subjects. So then what are the verb to be forms in past tense? So if it's I was. If it's you were. He was. She was. It was. We were. They were. Again, if you're not familiar with this, please watch the verb to be video before you continue. Okay, you need to know this properly to understand the past continuous, right? Okay, now let's look at a verb, any verb. Let's say play. That's the verb, and as you know, we have to use the ing to make it continuous. Okay, right. So let's do a small example. Okay. Let's say, let's use you. You. Okay, what is the verb to be for you? Were. You were. Let's use cook as the verb. Okay, cook is the verb. We use the ing to make it continuous. So you were cooking, let's say, when I came over. You were cooking when I came over, right? So which use is this? Do you remember? Out of the 4 uses that we spoke? Yes, this is the one with the interrupted action, right? Because you were cooking and I came over, right? So it's an interrupted action. So in that, you were cooking first. So we use the past continuous over here because that is the first action. You were cooking and I came over. Again, as I said, it's all in the past. See here, it's all in the past. So we have to use the simple past here. And we use the past continuous here, which is the first action. Okay? So you were cooking when I came over. Let's look at another example. Let's use they, or let's use she. She. She, what is the verb to be for she in past tense? She was. Very good. She was, let's say, listening. She was listening to music at 8 p.m. She was listening to music at 8 p.m. So this is the use where we said that when there is a specific time given, we use the past continuous, right? So she was listening to music at 8 p.m. Okay, so I hope that is clear. All right, so let's go to the next one, which is practice, because practice makes perfect. Okay, all right, so um, again, as always, I'm going to give you a sentence and I will give you a few seconds to try to come up with the right answer. Okay, and then I'm going to put the answer on the board so you can check, and in case it's wrong, we can learn and correct. Okay, all right, so John blank verb is play football yesterday. That's right, John was playing football yesterday. Okay, so playing football, is not something that happens in just a second, right? It happens for a period of time, right? So John was playing football yesterday. And why are we using was? Because John is a he. Okay, he, the verb to be in past tense is was. And then we have the continuous verb, which is playing. So John was playing football yesterday. All right. Okay, let's look at the second sentence. We blank, ride is the verb, our bicycles when it started to rain. You get that? Okay, so we were riding our bicycles when it started to rain. Interrupted action. Yes? Yeah, we were riding our bicycles and it started to rain. So riding our bicycles was the first action. That's why we are using the past continuous for this. And we, the verb to be in the past tense is were, right? So we were riding our bicycles when it started to rain. All right, let's look at the third sentence. Okay, so we have a blank, you blank, verb is watch a movie at 8 p.m. yesterday. So now look at this here. This is a question, okay? So think about the structure for the question, okay? So, were you watching a movie at 8 p.m. yesterday? Okay, here, so remember when it's questions, the structure of the sentence changes a little bit. Okay, the syntax changes a little bit. The word order is different. Okay, so instead of like here, we had the verb to be before the continuous verb, but here we have the pronoun in between. Okay, so this is because it's a question, right? So, were you watching a movie at 8 p.m. yesterday? And why did we use the past continuous here? Because if you see over here, we have a specific time. Okay? All right. Let's look at the next sentence. I blank cook all day last Monday. Yeah? Did you get that? I was cooking all day last Monday. So again, why were we using the past continuous? Because it says here all day last Monday, which means cooking. I was cooking for a long period of time. Okay, so I was cooking all day last Monday, right? And it was because the verb to be for I in the past tense is was. Okay, all right. Let's look at the last sentence. John and Susan blank dance at the party. Did you get that? Very good. So John and Susan were dancing at the party. Again, dancing is an action that happens for a period of time. Okay, so John and Susan were dancing at the party. Now, why is it were? Because John and Susan becomes they, right? So the verb to be in past tense for they is were. So John and Susan were dancing at the party. All right. Okay. So again, guys, if you are not familiar with the verb to be in the past tense, please look at my video, and I'm going to tag the video at the end of this video, tag the to be video at the end of this video. So you can just click on that and take a look at it in case you want to refresh your memory. Okay. So I hope it was clear, and I hope that you have learned how and why we use the past continuous. Okay. So as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to write to me and I will reply back to you. All right. So practice, practice, and happy learning. See you soon. Bye bye.